So what I should be doing is washing dishes, but I've had just a week. Um, I've had a week of just really great social interactions, and um, that always takes me a lot of time to decompress from and process. Um, and I used to find that very cumbersome and inconvenient and didn't really like that about myself. But I've begun really appreciating about myself um, that I do find so much meaning in in some of the interactions that I have. And I genuinely have just I've had some incredible conversations with people um, at my new job. There's a lot of people and there's a lot of really cool people and a lot of just like really honest and let's talk about it people, which is my jam. And but anyway, what I had on my mind right now was I was talking to a coworker last night, and we were talking pretty explicitly about stuff regarding where we're coming from and with CPTSD and neurodivergence and stuff like that. And we were about to leave. We were both a couple of drinks in, so we were relaxed. And but he had a moment that he was like, do I overshare? Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. And started explaining something about his past to me. Involved, it started with him saying, so I was sexually abused when I was a child. And I was like, oh, shit. And there was a pause. He was gathering his thoughts, and I wanted him to not feel alone um, in that in that admission, and I said I was too. And then there was another pause because I think he was processing that, and and then I said I was 12 years old. How old were you? Because that like if we're just like fucking blatantly talking about it, then it's like I do kind of want to compare notes a little bit. Because like I said in a recent video that I did, you know. I know who I was and what my life was and how I was feeling and how I was acting out when I was like 12 years old or whatever. And that's all I know because that was the experience that I had, right? So anyway, he was 3 and I was 12. And something I was thinking about um, was we were talking a lot about counselors that we've had and stuff. He's been in a lot more counseling than I have. I've had 2 counselors in my adulthood, and they were both excellent. I have always felt extremely lucky that both times, I didn't shop around. Like the first person that I started working with was the person that I stayed with. And got a lot out of it and had just really beautiful relationships with there's an older lady both times, and that was really good for me. And I've been wanting to go back to counseling the last couple of years. It's just been an affordability thing, but I just got insurance a couple weeks ago. I'm sorting out medical shit first because all the clinics that I usually go to have lost federal funding, so all of the pay has gone up like literally 10 or 12 times the original amount or the amount that was for years. So I'm sorting that stuff out first, and then I gotta sort out dentist stuff, and then after that, because it's just I don't have time for like the admin side of working that shit out. Um, After that, I'll probably be seeking a counselor again, which will be really nice. Anyway, um, my first counselor in college made a really good point. I had explained some of the context and situation with what happened with me, and And I think she had asked a lot about, how my family responded, what things changed in my life, like, after all that went through, like, after, like, um, but yeah, so my counselor had said that, she listened to kind of like the events at the end of the situation, and and she told me, like, it really sounds like some of those situations that you were put in, surrounding this event, um, afterwards, was more of a rape to you than what had already happened to you. And I'm not sure, I don't remember how I took it at first. I think that might have been more than I could really understand objectively when she said it. Because I was probably like 20 or so when she said it. And like you have to realize, like, from 12 to sometime when I was like 2021 probably, I did absolutely believe that it was my fault, because that's what I had always been told. And it eventually became really hard for me to have any perspective outside of that. It was really hard for me to believe it to be true about myself when I started hearing, like, more, I've kind of seen a lot of the beginnings of the language happen as far as trauma healing and stuff like that. And, but anyway, but I was thinking about, I was imagining, like, if that coworker and I kind of went back to that conversation, like, because it was just honestly nice to just, like, blatantly be two men in their 30s talking about being molested when they were children, because it happened and it changed us, and it's a thing that we had to change from, and work out what it means to us as adults. And but I was thinking about, just, it's been very clear to me that the most painful aspects of that whole situation for me was always how my mother specifically, my mother especially, but both my mom and my sister, just kind of left me hanging. And so I had to deal with them suddenly leaving me hanging, right after, like, a really emotionally exhausting and scary situation. And on top of the very clear message that I was to blame for all that had just happened. And so a really good example of that is, soon after everything had blown over, I had done something very small and arbitrary, but that had bothered my mom. And her first reaction to that was to say, we just spent a lot of money and went through a lot of trouble for choices that you made about your body. And that money could have been spent on better things. That's who raised me. And, I'm at an interesting age too where, I'm starting to bond with other people, and especially, talking to other men, and being really honest about, like, how we were raised, and how things about how we raised didn't do us favors, or, like, the things that, like, we really took away from it. And it's just been really good to be so honest about stuff like that. But it has also required me to have thought processes like what I just said, and to kind of remember, like, that's who I am. That is who is showing up to the situations that I'm in. Is someone who was raised by, as someone who would say that to a 12-year-old after they have been molested. Anyway, I need to lighten this tone. Goddamn. Okay, so good story, and from today. So that's like so close to the camera. Guys, this is my favorite coffee creamer. I use it for my tea. I had to go to the car shop. Today is my day off today. That's why I'm about to do dishes and finish chores. But I went to the car shop earlier because I was having some vibrations when I was braking, and it was getting a lot worse. And last time I just needed an alignment, and it was fine. It's just like I'm in Ohio. There are memes about how bad our roads are. So I was at the car shop for like 4 hours, unfortunately. And it's like, I had called on my last day off, hoping to go in that day. And they're like, we're really busy. Let's like schedule you an appointment for some other day. And I was like, I can do Friday. And, so it sucks. It's like I came in for an appointment and I was still there for, I think, a little over 4 hours. But my car driving smooth now. But anyway, I was happy with my experience there today. Normally, I would feel so stir crazy and like kind of trapped. And that feeling that like I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck there and I don't know what the outcome is. I don't know how much it's gonna cost, And but I came with a plan. I came with snacks. I came with a water bottle. I came with. I don't like doing work on my phone or my computer, and I always put it off, basically until I have a list of like 5 or 6 things that I really just need to sit down and do. And I like it when I can make that list for getting done when I'm going to be stuck somewhere for a while and can just focus on that. And so that's what I did today. That worked out perfectly. It took me like an hour and a half to go through that to-do list. But, I got stuff set up for doctor's visits and insurance shit and work training shit, and got like up-to-date posting, like crafting pictures on my Instagram and shit like that. So that was good. That worked really well. But also I just like kind of changed my focus and focused on just being chill and being present and not worrying about how long it takes, not wondering how long it takes, not wondering if it's going to cost anything crazy, because, nothing was so wrong. I've been in the situation where I've taken a car in, it's traumatized me clearly. I've been in the situation where I take a car in and I don't know what's wrong. And they come out and they tell me, and it's like something that's like I wildly can't afford. But like in at least one situation, I've had the dude look at me and say like, I don't feel safe about you driving this off my lot. And like I think in that situation they like sent me with a credit card or something. Because when you're poor, you have to take out a loan for every emergency. But no, anyway, it was nice. I was still like just very kind of out of it by the time I was leaving, because I was just kind of fucking ready to go after like 3 hours. And it became just kind of like, why am I just still here in this unfamiliar space? But overall, it was a good experience. I had some good interactions with people who were like waiting there and who were working there. I mostly just minded my business. I'm seeing myself do a better job in real time, knowing how to clearly communicate that this is a safe place for whoever enters that space when I'm in it. I'm really happy to be seeing me know how to intuitively engage with people in a better way than I used to know how to do. And it just feels good. It feels good to know how to hold space like that. It feels good to know how to like silently communicate to another person. You're alright. You know? Like, I'm here. Come sit by me. We don't have to talk. But that feels really good to be able to do. Alright. I'm gonna wash these dishes. That was taking up a lot of brain space. Holy shit. It's so nice. I call it, like, it's one of my, like, autism things. I call it the eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. Just every now and then. I can't always get myself there when I want to, but every now and then I just get to a point where it's just like, I finally work out everything that I need to work out, or say what I need to say, or whatever. And then I'm just like, that's such a good feeling. And I want that for you too.